Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. We have the one and only Rilus Dana with the awesome YouTube channel, Mott Legal. How you doing, buddy?
Awesome. Thanks for having me. I said, you looking official. Looks like the news. Looks like I'm watching the news. And then I get to see myself in there.
Yeah, you're official, man. We got your whole Mott Legal up here. Yeah.
And participate. This is so much fun. I really enjoy being on your channel. So thanks for having me. It's fun to participate in the discussions as well as watch every day.
Oh yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, you help a lot of people out, with trusts and probate and all of these things. But what I want to do here is I want to ask you a question I've asked all my experts over the last month. And that is, what are kind of like 3 to 5 books you recommend that kind of meant something to you? Maybe not so much Rilus, the attorney, but maybe Rilus, the business owner, Rilus, the real estate investor, Rilus, the entrepreneur. What are some books you recommend?
Yeah. So first, I would say, the classic Think and Grow Rich. It's probably on a lot of people's lists, but that's one that really kind of opened my mind to a new way of thinking, right? Kind of really like the power of positivity and the power of, I don't know, I guess willpower is probably part of it.
Yep.
But it's also very intriguing. I really enjoy that one because it's old, right? It's and it was a study of millionaires. Over 100, is it 100 years old now, or probably close to?
It's pretty close, I think. Yeah, pretty close.
So, but that's classic. A lot of books mention that and reference that. Another one I would say is The Lean Startup.
Yeah.
By the author is Eric Ries, and that one, after I read a book, you try to summarize it, or my key takeaway in that was win by learning faster.
Yeah.
It's all about this new business model. It's about building, they call it your what do they call it, your MVP, minimum viable product.
Yep.
And you should be a little bit embarrassed of it. Like you should launch sooner than you want is kind of the idea. Yeah, and then get the feedback. Let the people tell you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I live in the Silicon Valley. I've been grew up in the .com era, fail fast, minimum viable products. Yeah, it is that feedback loop. And actually, if you're an investor, Ray Dalio is kind of the same thing, right? In his book, I'm drawing up principles. He talks about his kind of feedback loop for investing, right? You don't wait for perfection, right? Perfection loses. Right. And oh, by the way, it's unattainable as well, I want to tell you. So yeah, fail fast, get it out there. Like you say, almost be embarrassed, but then iterate quickly, right? Take market feedback and iterate quickly. I think Lean Startup's a great number one. What do you got for number 2?
Number 2, Traction by Gino Wickman.
Yeah, Traction. Yeah.
Introduces they call it the EOS, entrepreneurship owner or operating system.
EOS. Yep.
So I was a business management major. That's what I studied in college. So I always had the idea of getting into law to get into the business of it.
Oh, okay.
So I like this book as a management major because it lays out basically a management outline for a business.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, for better or for worse, at least just have something, right? At least just have something in place.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that I remember from Traction is you wear different hats and you may not be right for the hat you have, right? And I thought that was very interesting, right? Because, I think about Pace Morby, a friend of both of ours. And he is like he's the classic kind of lead from the front entrepreneur, always creating new great ideas. But without his partner, Cody, who's the operational make stuff get done, the marriage doesn't work, right? You can't have 2 Paces or 2 Codys. You need that ham and egg. And I think Traction, I think Cody and Pace could be the ideal Traction case study in a successful business partnership, friendship, family. It's pretty cool to watch those 2.
Yeah, they're a really good example of it. And really the second book in that series, or I don't know how many there are, but Rocket Fuel.
Oh, I haven't read that.
It talks about the visionary and integrator. talks about
Yes.
that a little bit more, and how that relationship works. Some
Yeah.
of my other key takeaways from Traction is when you're working in the business, you got to treat yourself like an employee.
Yes, for
And that's
sure.
good. A lot of professional, especially lawyers, can kind of get lazy, like, oh, I'm the boss, blah, blah, blah. I've, special privileges. But no, when you're in the business, you gotta be accountable.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think Traction is great. If you have any entrepreneurial visions or wants or needs, that's a book you should definitely read. The EOS, and I hadn't heard of Rocket Fuel, so I need to check that one out.
Yeah,
I
and
think
one
that's
of the
cool.
things I like in Traction too is they call it the VTO, the Vision Traction Organizer. So basically, it's a way to put down your goals, and you go like 5 year, 10 year,
Right.
1 year, and then you kind of back into those, like how you're going to get there.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a great book. Highly recommend. Even if you're a real estate investor and you imagine building a portfolio, eventually you'll be bringing in systems and teams. It might be worth a read for sure. All right. What do you got next?
That are just kind of finishing on Traction.
Sure.
I would say that helped implement a meeting flow in my business where we have a weekly team meeting, and they talk about measuring backwards. So a big part of our team meeting is we celebrate wins. There's always problems, right? And that's what you're dealing with every day, but it's important to look backwards and see where you've come to celebrate a little bit.
Yeah.
So otherwise you're just constantly focused on the negative.
Yeah, totally agree.
All right. So Traction. Next I got Go Giver.
Oh, I love that book. Quick read. It's how I try to operate. Yeah, Go Giver is a good one.
Yeah. So Pace Morby, he invited me to a RIA meetup. And this is kind of like what got me hooked into the world. And that first one he invited me to, the speaker was Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP.
Yes.
And so much energy and excitement. And he gave kind of like his formula for what a successful day looks like for a real estate investor.
Okay.
And part of that is doing some reading, and then he recommended this book. So I read it right after because I love the energy there, and it's it's quick read, but really it's all about how much can you help others.
Yes.
And when you think that way, it just makes life so much better.
That's exactly right. Right. There's a word I put on my channel a lot called happiness. And for me, happiness is going to be achieved the next 50 years by giving back and seeing the impact. It's just a better way to live. It's just more fun.
Yeah. So when I have new clients, for a while I was like, all right, like what can I close? Like how much money can I make? Like, you know what I mean? Like these other books I mentioned, like you get heavy into the numbers and all that stuff. But when I started living like, all right, like, I'm meeting with this person or I'm talking with this person, how much can I help them? Like, no matter what happens, just like in this little time period, how much can I help them? Yeah. And some of my most enjoyable experiences are, people that don't even hire me. I'll tell them how to do things for free.
Yeah.
Or they don't need it. It's so nice just to, see how happy it makes them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Go Giver is a quick read. It is one of those books that I do think leads to, calling it a better life might be a stretch, but just another way to look at life and to make different choices. It really was a good one.
Yeah. And you kind of think about it too, the more you help others, that's, the universe provides. It's one of those things where it is kind of self-serving.
Yeah.
But you can't lead with that, right? If you're just truly focused on others, you see yours later. It always comes back later in better ways and bigger.
Yeah. Love that one. So Lean Startup Traction, Go Giver. What do you got next?
Profit First.
Oh, yes. I have to read that one. I have not read that. I have it, but I haven't read it yet.
And again, just like what it sounds like in the title, make sure you take care of yourself first. And in a business, you can get caught up with other things, but make sure you're paying yourself first. And that helps you get more of an honest look at your business too. Right? Like, do you have a job or do you have a business, right? Do you have something that's you're tied to, and it's not really a good return? Like, maybe you're better off getting
are you working less than minimum wage? Is that what we're doing here, folks? Yeah. I have not read that. I have it on my bookshelf in my pile to be read. So I'm glad to hear you talk about that one.
That's a good one. And then last one on my list, this quick list I put together, is you can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar.
The title is seriously?
That's the title.
You can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar.
By David Sandler.
Oh, Sandler. Yes, the sales training. Sandler training. I have had that a couple of different times in my sales career. Now it makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up Pace earlier. Yep. So, I've met him in Phoenix. I've had the privilege of doing some ride-alongs with him and listening to his calls. And I recorded some of the content with him in his course on probate. Mm-hmm. But this book is part of like Pace's style, his sales style, that I realized, like, a lot of the things that I learned from him, like what he was doing. And it's just a real fun way too, because it's kind of like taking the sale away. It's kind of like breaking the rules.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm probably not your buyer. Like, we're probably not a good fit. And and it's kind of like switching the tables. So
yeah, Sandler selling. I have not honestly never that. This is the first time. Actually, I think it might be the second book in my list for my experts that I have never heard of. So I need to go check this one out. You can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. Very cool.
Yeah. And which is so good in our world, right? Like, a lot of people in real estate, you get caught up in getting all the education, doing all the things, but at some point you got to get out there and go and do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, do me a favor, since I got Mott Legal up behind me, tell us about Mott Legal. Tell us about what Rilus Daniel is doing. If people want to reach out for probate and all of that, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can go to rilusdana.com, find all the things that I'm doing. So I practice law in Arizona and California. Mott Legal is actually where I'm providing. I do a lot of stuff there for real estate investors as well as attorneys as my target audience, trying to help attorneys run their business. Yep. Yeah, that's one of my good one of my advanced estate planning topics on there. So I've done some stuff recently about seller financing as well, and just those topics. So one of my core values in my businesses is empowerment. Mm-hmm. Trying to teach people. I guess that's why I'm here today, and I guess you share that as well. You're always trying to educate your audience. So this is a way where I try to teach different legal concepts, and that's some of my cartoons have developed over the years.
I love them.
Yeah, that's
very creative.
Trying to make it really, 6th grade level. Can we get complicated concepts into an easy cartoon figure? Yeah,
for sure. People on my channel, if you've asked about a dynasty trust, you've heard Rilus bring it up a couple of different times. Again, Rilus has his playlist on my channel, but if you want to learn about a dynasty trust, Mott Legal, YouTube, #1 video. What are dynasty trusts? It's a quick 8-minute watch. Rilus, thank you for your time this week. Great list. Lean startup, traction, go giver, profit first, and you can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's always great to be here.
You got it, brother.